Hey friends, Kirsten here. Today I just wanted to share with you a couple of tips for staying at peace in this season. We have all been through a lot of change. We've all experienced a lot of different things right now, and some very hard, some just challenging, some just simply change. And change is challenging to navigate. And I don't know about you, but I have been needing to find ways to experience peace even more and more. And I've been doing this day after day, moment after moment, and just checking in with myself. How are you doing? How's everything happening? How's everything going in here? How's everything going out here? And that has really been helpful, just simply taking moments of pausing. But then finding out what you do after you pause is really important also. And, you don't want to just pause and go, how are you doing? Not so good. Okay, let's move on. You want to pause and then find ways to shift that. And, there's a lot of time on some people's hands right now. Others are working harder than ever, and it's a wide spectrum, but we all need peace, and we need to be giving that peace away, and we need to be receiving it first. How many of you know that you can't give something that you don't first have yourself? And so I'm just going to walk you through a simple process of releasing anxiety, releasing any icky feelings that are happening, and receiving peace. And so here's what we do. First step, we acknowledge the emotion that we're feeling. You can't really go very far without acknowledging it. And sometimes the fear of acknowledging an emotion, especially an intense emotion like anxiety or fear, or even pain, is that emotion is going to overtake us. And sometimes we feel like if I acknowledge it, then it's going to blow up and blow out of proportion and get even harder to deal with. And so I shove that emotion down rather than face it. But the actual truth is that something opposite happens when we acknowledge it. When we acknowledge it, we actually shine light on it and see it for what it really is. And that simple process right there alone starts to dissolve the power of that emotion over us. Now, we don't want to just sit in it and stay in it. We don't want to ignore it, but we also don't want to just sit in that emotion as well. We want to acknowledge it, know where it's coming from, shine as much light on it as we can, experience it for 1 second and say, okay, I see that I'm experiencing this right now. So maybe it's anxiety, maybe it's fear, maybe it's pain. It's a lot of loss as well. And we acknowledge that. We say that's real. It's okay for me to feel that way. It's okay that that's happening right now. That's very real. And so in that acknowledging, it also tells your mind and your body, hey, I'm not ignoring you. I am listening to you. I am paying attention to you, and I'm giving you space. But I'm also saying that I don't need to live in that. And so the next step that we do is we just take a couple of breaths. Okay, I've just acknowledged this intense emotion. I'm going to breathe in and let my body, let my system kind of come into a place of peace by breathing deeply. And now by breathing deeply, we are activating our sympathetic nervous system. We're allowing our cortisol levels to release. We're allowing our adrenaline to release. We're allowing peace to come in. And you just breathe deep through your nose, and then you allow it to fill your diaphragm, fill as deep as you can, and hold it for a couple of seconds. Not for too long. We're not asking you to pass out, but hold it for a minute, not a whole minute. Hold it for a couple of seconds. It allows your heart rate to come down. It allows your body to kind of come into alignment. It allows things to be more at peace and still. And so this breathing process can be done really at any time and anywhere. I recommend doing it when you wake up in the morning, just taking some breaths, acknowledging how you feel, taking some deep breaths, and going through that. And I also recommend doing that any time throughout the day. It can be done at any time. You might have released anxiety 5 minutes ago, and now you need to do it again. And that's okay. It's okay to keep doing it over and over again until you feel yourself fully enter into this space of peace. And then next, so that was 1, we want to acknowledge the emotion, and 2, we want to take some deep breaths. And then 3, you want to release that emotion. We just picture it. I picture it just dripping out of me, coming out of my pores, coming out of my body, almost like sweat is coming out, and I'm detoxing that body. Others that I've worked with say they like to see it being put up into a box and handing it out, letting it come out of your body and releasing it. There are a number of ways you can do that. Whatever helps you feel like you are releasing that emotion out of your body. And that's the key, is to acknowledge it and say, now it's okay to let it go, to let that go. And anytime you let something go, you want to receive something in return. And so we want to receive that peace. We want to receive love. We want to receive joy and hope. And one trick, if you're struggling receiving those things, one trick to kind of bypass that and come into a place of peace a little bit easier is to find something that you're grateful for. And that can be anything. I've had days where it's been really hard, and the only thing I can find that I'm grateful for is that the sun is shining outside, or the grass is green and I enjoy walking in it, or I'm grateful that I have a roof over my head. And I find anything that I am grateful for, and then all of a sudden I sit on that, and all of a sudden all these other things come into play. I start to experience peace. I start to experience hope. I start to experience life. And, trust me, I've walked people through this with loads of trauma. I have experienced loads of trauma myself, and simply acknowledging things that you're grateful for start to open up a path to peace for you. And so you begin entering into breathing again for a second time. But this time you're breathing in things that you're grateful for. You're breathing in truth. You're breathing in hope and peace. And breathe out any remaining remnants of anxiety, fears, pain that remains. Just let it all out. We breathe in and we breathe out. And so it's a simple, even as I'm doing this, I can experience the peace. I release the peace. And like I said, I've done this at the grocery store lately, and it really works. I've even noticed it shifting the people around me. The grocery store right now is filled with people who are very anxious, and it's also filled at some stores with empty shelves. And so you start to wonder, what am I going to eat? And where am I going to find it? And am I going to find any toilet paper? Don't worry, I can use a leaf. It's going to be okay, But, I just do that in the grocery store, and I just pause. I don't necessarily have to close my eyes when I'm doing it. So you can, when you're in public, you can just pause, acknowledge how you're feeling, take a deep breath, release that feeling, and receive some peace. So I bless you. I bless you in this season that you're going to come out on the other side filled with peace. You're going to come out filled with an even greater ability to walk through new scenarios, new situations with a resiliency that is stronger than ever before. And I bless everything that you're walking through right now, every change, every situation. And thank you for taking the time to watch. I hope that you experienced a new level of peace today, and may you be blessed.